It is a beautiful Saturday morning here. Well, it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Lexington, North Carolina. This is Beyond Swatches. I am Tiffany. I'm glad you stopped by, clicked on the video. We'll spend a few minutes just chatting about some of the projects that I'm currently actively working on. And then I got one big confession that I am so devastated about. I hinted to it in a post not too long ago on the community tab. But yeah, we frogged an item, and I'll get into that next. Yeah, thank you for coming by. I'm sitting outside on my deck. It seems to be the place that I'm learning to love to be. I personally do love being outside, but the sun is very brutal. But it's a beautiful day. It's humid, but there's a nice breeze blowing, so I'm just trying to take it all in and just trying to, you know, absorb the nature and feel all the positive energy from the earth around me. That sounds very garden-y, right? But you see I got my two planters back here. They're living things and some dying things, but it's all a part of trial and error for me, so I'm excited for it. So let's get into my projects. I currently am actively working on 3 projects. One of the projects is specifically for my knitting group, where we are working on our first sweater, which is the Flax Sweater by Tin Can Knits. We are, I think, 4 weeks away from the completion of, but if they're not done in that time, no harm, no foul. We'll play it by ear as we need to, but that's how long I ran this session for, which was, I think we started April 21st and it went until June. So the beginning of spring to the beginning of summer, the intention is to finish, or at least get as close to finishing a summer garment at the start of summer. That was the plan. So it's been going really well. It's one of the highlights of my week. I look forward to meeting with the ladies. I hope you all know that as well. They're making such good progress and it has me so proud. I feel like a mama bear. They're doing so well. So yeah, so my next knit along group that I would like to put together, I'm still a little teeter-tottery on whether I want to do a ranunculus group and we can just do like a fall sweater, or if I want to do a just a call out in general for those of you online, and we can work on a half and half wrap together. I'm currently already working on one, which I'll show you in a little bit. But half and half wraps, for whatever reason, I think they're a perfect fall project, or, you know, like heading into fall and have it ready for the winter. It's good to throw over you when you're sitting on the couch watching a movie. It's good to keep in the car. You can wrap it around you when you're going out. Even during the fall, like when you go and sit outside and do, let's say, music in the park or watching the kids' games, but you need a little something on your shoulders as the sun dies down and things. I personally think a half and half wrap is perfect for that. So I'm kind of playing it by ear. I don't know which one I really want to do. Pearl Soho's pattern for the half and half wrap is free. The ranunculus pattern, if you don't know, if you didn't get the free version when she had it, the current version, US dollars, I think is like $6 and some change. So it's not really expensive, but it's still a cost. And I'm very mindful of making sure to pick things that people are actually willing and able to do. I don't want to put no pressure on you. So that's what I have coming up, hopefully in the next month or so. So on to what I'm currently working on, which is Shield Your Eyes, ladies and gentlemen. This is the color that I started it in, which is this beautiful flamingo pink, I think it's called. Definitely a bright, it's called Pink Pop. And it's so bright, and it's so me. It's a pink, brightest pink, very, I think on camera it comes across maybe a little iridescent or neon like. It's not neon, but it's definitely bright pink. And then I decided to add a couple of stripes on either side of this wrap in this very much neon green. So the two of these together is what I'm working on. I just added a stripe in, just about a little a little more than a third of the way through of the first triangle. So I'm going to show you that. And as always, we're in the middle of a row. Let me bring you down a little bit. Okay, so that you can see. All right, so this is what that's looking like. Try not to lose no stitches, because y'all, I'm infamous for dropping a stitch. All right, so that's how many short rows I've gotten completed so far. From down here, I didn't count them, but this is how much progress I've made since I started a couple of weeks ago. And then I just threw in a green stripe. I just went back and forth one time, so down a row and back a row. And that's, like I said, about a third of the way through. I finished one ball of the pink yarn. It ended with like 15 stitches left on one row. So the ball of yarn completed the stripe, and now I'm back to the pink again. And I love it. It's such a not brainless, it's such a mindless project. For me, if you're going through stresses, you don't really want to focus on a project, or you don't really have the brain strength to focus on a project, you know, counting repeats and memorizing stitches, or even dancing stitches, like I like to call them, you know, things that require a yarn over and knit two and pass this. That's a lot when your brain is not focused. So a half and half wrap to me is always like really a good project choice. I'm looking forward to getting to the next color, which my other side of the triangle is just going to be a cream. The yarn, everybody loves it. It's rustic feeling without feeling too rough. It has alpaca in it, but it's not extra fuzzy and fluffy, you know, like the fibers and stuff. After washing, while you're working with it, there's stuff happening all the time, but after you wash it and kind of tone that down, it feels pretty good. So I like that. Yeah, and that's about it. So modifications as far as what I did differently in this project than what the pattern called for. It said it was supposed to be on 3.25 needles, and I am using a 3.5, so not much of a difference. It's a little bit bigger, a smidge. It also was, the largest size was 260 stitches, and I cast it on 275. I wanted it just a little bit bigger. I've made this before using the Knit Picks palette yarn, and that's 100% wool, so it is warm, but it was also a little rough on the hand. I don't want to say it was rough, because that's not it at all. I don't know how to describe it, because I don't want to give you a negative idea about it. The palette yarn is actually one of my favorites. I love using it, but it is wool, so it's hot. You know, it's hot, and it does its job. It is definitely wool, and it serves its purpose. I can't remember if the palette yarn, it didn't have colors like this. Like, this is what I wanted. It was sold out for so long. And that's how I ended up with a different color in the palette, but this is what I wanted. So I'm very happy to be working on this right now. The next project is, it's the Soar cardigan by Kadri or Kydri. And I am also in the middle of a row. But I'm on a knit row, so I'm going to try to knit this one out. I can get through a knit row a lot faster than a purl row. I think most of us can. This cardigan I did as a test knit. I think I'm repeating myself. I swear I said this before, but I kind of don't remember if I released that video or not. But in either case, you'll hear it again. So I did this as a test knit before. And I made it a little too big because I chose the size that I chose for the test knit, and I had to stick with it. But that's part of the reason why me and test knits are just, as much as I love the idea of working with the designer and correcting a pattern, or I don't know, making adjustments, having some input in the design process, what I realized for me is that majority of people who put a test knit call out are really just looking to see how it fits, right? Like, they want to see how it fits on sizes. They want you to check for errors, but a lot of the people that I've done test knits for, they've already had it edited, so the chances of there being errors are pretty slim, right? Not that it doesn't happen, but it's pretty slim. But with the test knit, when you choose your size, you're kind of locked in. And when I started the project, I knew that it was going to be a little bigger than I wanted, but I was already so my camera cut off. I'm not 100% sure where it stopped, but I believe one of the last things I was saying was when it comes to test knitting, sometimes it gets a little difficult because you want to choose the size that will fit you, but you're also not sure what the end result is going to be. And I still don't want to spend a lot of time working on this project just for it not to fit, you know. So but that's test knitting, you know. You kind of go through the motions, you give your designer feedback and things, but I don't know, I decided I'm not doing any more test knits, at least not formal ones. Like if somebody reached out to me and they said, hey, can you would you mind knitting this pattern and just giving me your feedback? Yes, I'll do that. But would you want to join this test knit group so that we can all be together and talk about our wins and fails and questions and stuff? Probably not. I don't know. I think the idea of deadlines also I don't really care for, so that's not for me. But anyway, I'll tell you about this cardigan because I can't seem to keep it on my lap. I'm out here in this heat, and child, let me tell you, it's hot. This wool and alpaca blend is hot. It's on my lap, so we're gonna try to hurry up and get through this one. But anyway, I am knitting this on size 11 needles. I think that's what the pattern had called for. Also, the benefit of not test knitting, I can just do whatever I want to do when it comes to needles. If it didn't fit, that's my bad, not hers, you know, or theirs, the designer. But I am knitting it on the size 11 needles. I think it's supposed to be on a 10.5, but my 10.5 is busy on something else and I didn't have another one, so moved it up to an 11. So it's still going to be too big. But it's okay because I felt like for this, I went into it with the mindset of a nice, almost jacket replacement for the cooler months. So, and I'm a person who prefers to wear a tank top anyway because I'm always hot, but then you go into certain places and it gets cold. So I'm usually one that has my sweater, a hoodie, or my half and half wrap with me. So it'll be nice to have a cardigan to kind of carry in the car and keep with you in case you're cold. So that's the purpose of the cardigan. I personally hate the way how cardigans make me feel when I'm knitting them because the back and forth knitting and purling is so tedious. So I have to keep reminding myself that this is for the end result. This is not for the process. This is for the product. And I'm okay with that. I can get through it with a good movie. I can get through a couple of rows. I can maybe put on some, like if I'm in a thinking mood, I'll throw on some jazz music or a good audio book even. I'll listen to a reading or a podcast or something that can divert my attention from purl. I feel like Ben Stein. like it's so hard to get through. So that's this project. I'm almost done. Hold on. Let me get to the end. All right. So we made it to the end of the row. So now I can at least pick it up and show you what this is going to look like. So when you start this, you start with the collar tab, like this little flap. I think, I don't remember. I think you started with this collar tab. You started doing some increases for the body, for the front rather. And then I worked on the whole front panel. No, I'm lying. You started at the bottom and you worked. So this is editing me here. I don't know what happened. I told y'all, well, it may not even uploaded in a clip, but I was having issues with my phone. And somehow or another, when I was putting this video together, 2 sections of this video were deleted. I don't know how, I don't know why. So I don't have the footage or the explanation that I gave, but I'm here to sum up. So the other project that I was talking about last was that gray sweater. With that gray sweater, what you basically do is start from the bottom and work up to a certain point, and then you put those stitches on hold, and then you cast on for the tab, like the neck tab, and knit short rows to make the left panel, and then you pick up some stitches, work the right panel, and then those get, you know, knit down, and then you basically connect everything. And so when I tried it on in the video that's now deleted, it was right at like my belly button length. And what I was saying was, I'm going to, when I get to the end of this ball of yarn, I'm gonna stop, because I think I might have enough yarn to do everything that I want to do, but just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna work the sleeves, finish that, and I'm gonna make the cardigan a little bit longer than what the pattern says, which is right about hip length. And the reason why is because, if you recall, in the previous video I mentioned, I bought this yarn specifically for this long cardigan that I found on Expression Fiber Arts, and I was so excited, and I got the pattern, and the designer had an error, and it was just too much, and my brain wasn't computing, and I was just like, you know what, forget it, I'm not dealing with this, I'll find another pattern. And this is what I came up with. So I wanted the duster, I wanted the long avant-garde type deal, but that's not what this is turning into. But I still would like at least a mid-thigh length, something that I can translate into a car coat, or you know, like a jacket for the fall slash early winter. We don't really get winter here, so that's what I was thinking. That's my goal. The other thing that got deleted was the part that I wish I could just delete in general in my life. In the beginning of this video, I mentioned that there was a confession. So we're heading to confession, ladies and gentlemen. I can't even say the words again. I had to talk about it the first time, and now I gotta talk about it again. I frogged my Shetland dress. Yes, I did. I didn't frog it all, but I might as well had. But the issue with this dress is, in full transparency, I've done a couple of try-ons, and when I tried it on, I was very excited because I can't believe I'm finally making the dress that I wanted. But when I tried it on again, maybe with a little bit more of a critical eye, what I realized is that this is not the dress that I envisioned for me. I'm not 100% mad at how it fits. It's fitted, which is not what I wanted, though. You know what I mean? Like, in the book, in the magazine rather, it's very flowy and it's loose, and it wasn't fitting that way. And I realized how I made such a drastic mistake in my counts. What had happened was, I downloaded this pattern electronically and put it in my Dropbox, and then I took it from my Dropbox to GoodNotes, which is on my tablet. But because it's in my Dropbox, I have access to it from my phone. And many a night, my tablet is charging on my desktop, which is in the living room or the dining room, and my bedroom is all the way over there. And pure laziness didn't always get up to go get the tablet. And I think because at one point in the beginning, I was kind of hemming and hawing between 2 sizes. I did end up choosing the larger size on GoodNotes, but because I was working out of my phone from Dropbox, you can't highlight in Dropbox. So I was reading the numbers, and I was just going by what I thought I chose. I don't know why I didn't just go get it. But anyway, so that's the trauma, the trauma. And like I always say, you know, it's not an ideal situation. It's just yarn, it's just knitting, but I know that at the end of this, I wouldn't be happy with the end result. And I had to make I made the executive big girl decision to rip out the dress, and it's in a bag. It's sitting very patiently waiting for me to come and get her, but my heart, she's broken because I had already split for the front and the back. And honestly, when I made this error, I kind of feel like I knew that the size that I was choosing wasn't going to be the quote-unquote right size, but I was going to accommodate for that in increasing across the belly, and I just didn't do it. I forgot. And so now I had to rip it out. Now, I could have done other things. I could have tried to finagle some steeking or something like that, but that's not what I didn't want to do it. I just ripped it out. Frustration, disappointment, I was mad at myself, all of the things. So those are the things that I did not get to talk about in the deleted clips. I don't even know how this happened. The last thing, the other thing that I didn't talk about, or that I talked about but I didn't get to show, was, do you remember that cable sweater that I was making for Audrey? It has like the 5 cables on the front, and her and I were going to have matching sweaters and all this and all that. So I'm on the hood for hers. I have just about 5 rows left, and that's a good thing. The thing with mine is I didn't keep making it because as I'm making hers, I'm watching the shape, right? And it starts right here and it leans out like a bat wing. And it's a beautiful design, but for somebody like myself who already wants the sweater to be knit longer, it didn't make much sense for me to have this happening at my hips because they're already wide. And so I'm trying to figure out, do I just increase more stitches? Like, do I basically just make the larger size I don't know, like I think I kind of figured it out in that I would make my regular size but then increase to the number that it would be at the widest point. I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. At this point, I'm just mad that the video clip is deleted because it was much prettier than this. This is dark nighttime. It's kind of drizzling and I'm sitting outside still up underneath the thing of the house. So yes, Charles, get off camera. Thank you. Are you ready to eat? All right. No, because you're going to go to sleep. Find your cat. And then I'll think about it. So anyway, so and then there's no flash. So yeah, we're all screwed up. So the next thing you'll see is the ending of the original video that did not get deleted. I don't know what happened. So I truly apologize, but wanted to at least give you the sad news of what has happened. But we shall recover and we shall go on. So let's move on to the end of the video. So thank you for spending some time with me. Oh, now the sun went away. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I am off tomorrow because that is the actual holiday. So I will be doing nothing as far as I can think of. Only thing I really want to do is to get a couple of bags of soil to pull this broccoli out of this lower thing. I don't understand how garden centers or stores sell you seeds and product in a season that you're not supposed to plant it in. I've been told now that it's dying, that broccoli, cabbage, certain lettuces, that they don't like the heat, but all of these things are sold in the store. So I took it and put it in the ground, but you live, you learn. So that's my only plan for tomorrow. I hope you enjoy your day off. As you see, I'm in my PJs. I'm walking around. As I come outside, I have to keep sleeves on because I'm allergic to all the bugs in North Carolina. And I'm also mildly irritated by this thing. But yeah, so we're going to go call it a day. enjoy your day off. If you have a day off, enjoy your day knitting or doing something that you love, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.